Good morning, dear children. Myself Manjula, social science teacher. So I hope you are enjoyed great holidays. Now let us welcome you all Shubhodaya 6th standard students for online session. I take social subjects for 6th standard. So students in the 5th standard, you are studying social science in a single branch. In this class, we are discuss the meaning of social science. What is social science? The social science is a branch of science. It consists of several branches. In 6th standard, you are studying social science in 3 branches. 6 social science consists of 3 branches. One is history, civics and geography. Here students look here. So this is the contents. So which are the contents are there in the 6th standard? Totally the 8 lessons in the history, the 2 units in the civics and other 2 units in the geography. First unit in the 6th is introduction to history. The second one is our Karnataka. So next one is prehistoric society. The fourth one is the ancient civilizations. The fifth one is the culture of the Vedic period. The sixth one is Christianity and Islam. The seventh one is the rise of new religions. Eighth one, important dynasties of North India. So these are all totally the 8 chapters in history. In civics, the first unit is citizenship and the second unit is national symbols and national integration. And other 2 chapters in geography. The first chapter is global maps. The second chapter is Asia, a land of contrast. So children, today I am going to introduce the first unit in the 6th standard is Introduction to History. Introduction to History. In this lesson, divided into 4 points. The majorly 4 points we study in this class. So the first one is the meaning of history, uses of history. Uses means the significance or importance of history. The sources, which are the important historical sources. How the sources are played an important role in construct the history. And the fourth point is the contribution given by the Europeans in the construction of Indian history. So let us discuss about the meaning of history. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಈ ಒಂದು ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇತಿಹಾಸ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಇತಿಹಾಸದಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನಗಳೇನು, ಮಹತ್ವ ಏನು, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ಯಾವ ಆಧಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ಭಾರತದ ಇತಿಹಾಸದ ರಚನೆಗೆ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ನರ ಕೊಡುಗೆ, ಈ 4 ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂಥ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್, let us discuss the meaning of history. History is a systematic presentation of past events. History means systematic presentation of past events. Past events is called history. History introduces the journey of human beings from ancient time to present. History tells the our ancestors experienced joyful and sorrowful experiences in the journey. Means what were the difficulties faced by our ancestors in the journey. So totally the history is a systematic presentation of past events. While we are going to explain the clarity is very important. So because without this clarity, we are not easily understand the history. So without the evidences or clarity, the history becomes a simple story. Is called as memory, means the evidences are very important to construct or understand the history. Why should we study history? For example, what will happen if you touch the fire? It burns, doesn't it? So, will we do the same mistake again? No, because we have already experienced the burning sensation. Without a memory, that is called as memory. Without this memory, the human beings committed the same mistake again and again. So, the memory serves the human beings to survive. Or the memory is very important to progress or development of the human beings. Here, for example, first we gave clarity to the historical events. We take two examples. What are the differences are there between story and history? The first sentence is, once upon a time there was a king in a place, he fought a war. The second sentence is, Ashoka was a famous ruler. He ruled Pataliputra in 261 BCE. He fought Kalinga war. Here the two sentences are there. In the first sentence, the name of the person, the name of the place and the time or date is not mentioned. But in the second sentence, so the second sentence completely gave clarity about the historical incident. Here we will find the differences between history and story. So we are reading the history through the clarity of that event. So that is called as memory. Next, we are discussing about why should we study history. Why should we study history? Because for memory, recollection and retention. Memory is very necessary for all human beings for their development or progress. Memory serves the human beings to survive. The history serves the memory for a society, state, nation and the world. History is a record of good and wrong decisions, joyful and sorrowful experiences of our ancestors, and what are the difficulties faced by our ancestors. So that's where the history is become a record. History wants to making a decision for future generation. History wants the future generation making process. How the wrong decision led to a wrong path. And the principles, values, ideologies of our ancestors will be a model and guiding force for next generation or our descendants. And the next point is, so the sacrifices, patriotism, valor and adventure will be a inspire for next generation. For example, so many important rulers, so they are known for so while we are on the pages of history, across many of the hundred and thousands of rulers were known for their sacrifices, patriotism, valor and adventures. Some of them are Akbar, Harshavardhana and Ashoka. So that they are the rulers known for their sacrifices. The history helped to arouse the feeling of pride and honor of our country at large. Especially India is a rich country in culture and heritage. So these are all the uses, importance and significance of history. Once I repeat, listen, The history is a systematic presentation of past events. What would you happen without memory of all? The memory is very important to all human beings for their progress or development. And after that, so you already know about the without the clarity of accuracy of time, place or person of that historical event, history becomes a story. So, what are the uses and significance of history? The first one is memory, recollection and retention. Memory serves human to survive. The history serves the memory for society, state, nation and the world. The history is become a record of good and wrong decisions, the sorrowful and joyful experiences of our ancestors and difficulties faced by our ancestors from ancient time to present. For example, so we turn the pages of history. So some of the important rulers in their ruling, they not only involved in joyful or sorrowful experiences, both joyful and sorrowful experiences they were involved. History was making a decision for process. The principles, values and ideologies of our ancestors will be a model and guiding force to the next generation. The valor, the adventure, the patriotism, sacrifices will inspire the next generation. And after that, so through the history, we are easily introduce our culture and heritage. The history arouses the feeling of honor and pride of our country to all. These are all the uses or significance of history. So next we are discuss about who is the father of history. Who is the father of history? The Herodotus of Greece. Herodotus of Greece is the father of history. He is the first person to show the world how to construct the immensely valuable history or go to study the history in a systematic manner. Hence, he is known as father of history. Who is the father of history? Herodotus of Greece is the father of history. He showed the world. He is the first person to show the world how to construct the immensely valuable history and go to study the history in a systematic manner. So, he called as a father of history. So, next we are discuss about sources. What are sources? What are the important sources are necessary to construct history? What are the important sources? How to classify the sources? Next one is sources. The sources are evidences or proofs to necessary for construct of history. The sources are very essential to construct history. Without these sources, we are not easily create or construct history. The historical evidences to be a particular or authentic about history. The sources can be divided into two types. The sources can be majorly divided or classified into two types. The sources majorly divided into two types. The first one is literary sources. Literary sources. Second one is archaeological sources. Archaeological sources. Sources can be divided into two types: literary sources archaeological sources. The sources are the exact evidences or proofs to create or construct history. Sources are divided into two types: literary sources and archaeological sources. The literary sources means we convey the information through the written form. For example, books, newspapers, magazines, other historical written sources are called as literary sources. The literary sources further classified into two types. One is written literature, and oral literature. Written literature and oral literature. Written literature means through the written form we convey the information from one generation to next generation. That is called as written literature. Oral literature means through the oral form we convey the information. So here the written literature further divided into two types. One is the native literature. Native literature and foreign literature. Foreign literature. Listen students, the sources majorly divided into two types. One is literary sources, the other one is archaeological sources. The literary sources further divided into written literature and oral literature. The written literature further divided into two types: the native literature and foreign literature. Native literature means the books or records of the history written or created by the native people is called native literature. The books or a record of the history or the literature is created by the native people is called native literature. Foreign literature means the people. The books or records of the history is created by the people of other country is called as foreign literature. And after that, the oral literature consists of ballads, stories, folk songs, legends, and myths. Lavanies also. The oral literature consists ballads, stories, folk songs, legends, and myths. So by using these all the oral sources or written sources, we are easily construct or create history or easily understand the history. The written literature is constructed by the literate people or educated people, but the oral literature is created by the village people or illiterate. So next one is archaeological sources. Archaeology is one of the branch of social science. The archaeological sources means the ruins and some of the things we have to found in a digging through the excavation, the process of excavation, and the pieces of the pots, coins, inscriptions, monuments, temples, they are all called as archaeological sources. The physical ruins, some of the things, coins, inscriptions, they are all called as archaeological sources. For example, coins, monuments, inscriptions, the pieces of pots, and other artifacts. Other artifacts means like vessels, jewels, temples, some of the other things we are find out through the excavation process. They are all called as archaeological sources. So some of the rulers, so while they are ruling period, so they are minted different type of the coins. For example, Samudragupta minted 7 types of the golden coins in their ruling period. The coins, monuments, inscriptions, the pieces of the pots, other artifacts like vessels, jewels, and some other things are called as archaeological sources. These are all the sources are very necessary to construct or create history. In this class, we are studied about the meaning of history, source of history, what are the uses of history, and who is the father of history. The history is a systematic presentation of past events, and through the history we are collecting information about our past, and after that the Herodotus of Greece was the father of history. The historian is the person one who constructs history is called historian. The sources are exact evidences to construct or create history. The sources are divided into two types, literary sources and archaeological sources. The literary sources further divided into written literature and oral literature. The written literature is divided into two types, native literature and foreign literature. Native literature means the records or book of the history is written by the native people is called native literature. The books are records of the history written by the people of other country is called foreign literature. And oral literature consists of ballads, stories, folk songs, legends and myths. Through the oral form, we are easily convey the information from one generation to next generation. And another one is the archaeological sources, coins, monuments, inscriptions, pieces of pots and other artifacts are called as the archaeological sources. Dear students, in this class we are discussing about the three important points: meaning of history, the source of history and the uses of history. Thanks for listening. In the next class we will discuss about the contributions by the Europeans in the construction of Indian history. Thank you.